Hi everyone, Sam and Lily here, and welcome to the Wellness That Works podcast.
For this episode, we got in WW members and couple Andri and Mo to talk about why it's so much easier to do the WW plan when you've got someone there alongside you. We actually did some research recently that showed that over half of people are more likely to stick to a healthy lifestyle when they've got someone along for the ride with them. So grab a cuppa and have a listen because they're a great chat.
Enjoy. Hi guys, thanks for being with us. How are you?
Good, thank you. Happy
Very
to
well.
be here.
Good, nice to have you here. So, I'm going to launch into our first question. Who started WW and why?
Right, I started WW first, and I started at the end of our school summer holidays. So I'd just come back from Ibiza with Mo, and previous to that, Dubai. Really unhappy with my holiday photos, didn't feel very comfortable, and whilst I was out there, hated what I was wearing, and I just thought I need to do something. WW workshops are very close to where we live, so I thought I'm just going to go and see what it's like. So I started first and then came back from the meeting like buzzing, like really loved it, was really excited. I just loved everything about it, and I came home and I just thought, is Mo going to want to join? So I don't know if I can do this on my own in terms of cooking separate meals, because we generally eat everything together as a two because we live together. And came home and sold it to Mo pretty much in a nutshell of like 5 minutes. This is amazing. You can do this. We can do this. And then Mo joined like a week later.
Brilliant.
Amazing. And would you say there's always that kind of preconception that when you're in a couple, you kind of get into that comfortable eating, takeaways on the sofa? Do you feel like you guys had fallen into those habits a little bit and WW helped to get out of that?
I think so. I think obviously the biggest thing was about just learning how we treat each other with regard to food, and being together for 16 years, you develop a certain comfort. We were comfortable around each other. We obviously love each other very much, so we weren't as critical of ourselves and the way we looked in terms of appearance. We passed all of that, a very long time ago. So having a takeaway on a Friday night, and then, or the odd, weeknight when we're tired from work and thinking, you know what, we're just going to get a quick, takeaway.
Yeah.
It just became sort of like a habit kind of thing to be able to do that, to make those choices. And I think WW was very much a key part in changing those habits, breaking those barriers of, questioning how we eat, when we eat, and all that kind of stuff. And the impact has just been immense. So, very much so, like you said, it's about just getting out of that comfort zone into another comfort zone now. So, which we're in with WW.
Do you feel like one of you had more to do to get healthier, or were you in the same sort of, position?
I think we were both in a very similar position. We both knew we were overweight. I don't think either of us knew how much we weighed. We don't even own scales at home. We still don't now. Yeah. And that's when the shock came, when I first went to my workshop and I saw the number on the scales. Oh my goodness. Like, I never could have imagined that I weighed as much as I did at the time. And I think Mo would probably say the same. We were both in a similar boat where ideally we needed to lose quite a large amount of weight.
Mm-hmm. And what was that for both of you?
Well, you've reached gold, and it's how much have you lost?
Just under 5 stone. So
Amazing.
I'm 4 stone 11 pound. So that's since the beginning.
And I will have reached gold when I've hit just under 5 stone, and I'm just over 4 stone now. So I've got about 8 pounds to go.
So literally pretty much the same
Yeah,
target.
Yeah.
We've been succinct in terms of how our journey has been, I suppose, in terms of not just the weight loss, but also like the health aspect that you were saying. We've been very in sync with all of it. We pretty much think of doing all the same things. If Andrew wants to try something new, I try the same thing. Same thing with me. If I try, like with running, it's something that I wanted to do from sort of like the beginning of our journey, and I saw the impact of how food was having on us from a health perspective. And then I started running, and then Andrew thought, you know what, I'm going to do it as well. We do yoga, all those kind of things together.
Then start to see other health,
definitely
improvements.
Definitely.
I do love that on your Instagram, like the fact that you do everything together in terms of your WW journey is like serious couple goals.
Yeah, we do. We do. But we've got different goals. So like Mo is a runner. I would class myself as a jogger. perhaps
following along.
So like we might leave the house together and go for our runs, but we don't run together. Like Mo will go off, but it's the motivation to know that Mo is actually going through what I'm going through because he's running at the same time as me. And we generally meet up on the run back, and then we'll run that last part together. So, and the same as when we go to the gym, we go together, but then we do separate things in the gym, and then we'll come together to do the final bit, which is generally the bit we hate the most, core, and we'll do that together, and then we'll go home again. So like we kind of start everything together, go our separate ways with our goals, and then come back home together, which is nice.
So you said that you came back from your meeting and you were buzzing and you were like, wow, this is great. And that obviously had an instant impact on you. Yeah. How did you feel when you then first went into a meeting?
It was quite surreal.
A workshop, sorry.
It was quite surreal, I suppose, in a way, because I went to this meeting and I wasn't expecting what I saw. It had a real sort of community feel to it. Yeah. Everybody was so welcoming. Our WW coach, Angela, she's just fantastic. And she greets everyone with a smile. So for me, I had some reservations, I suppose, in terms of what it was going to be like and all those kind of things. But I was very much at ease from the moment I walked in. And the driving force for me in almost anything is just supporting Andri. And I think that's what it was. So I engaged with it as like, oh, this is something that I'm going to do to support Andri. And then it just became more about me for myself, I suppose, as from the moment I walked in. So that was it for me. It was instant.
And obviously you guys have been involved with quite a lot of the campaigning we've done recently around how we've had some stats from scientists that it's always easier when you're doing something together or you're learning healthy habits together. So obviously you've got your own mini community, as it were, with the two of you, but how did you find the support in the workshop, and have you met any other kind of WW friends along the way?
I think support in the workshop is quite lovely. Everyone's different ages, different backgrounds. Some of them work, some of them don't. What's nice is everyone's in it for the same reason. So you kind of all have something you can relate to with each other. So like we've made quite a lot of friends at meetings, and Mo's got like a little competition running with one of the ladies that helps run the workshop, and they're always talking about, oh, how much did you lose today? Well, I lost £1. Oh, I only lost half £1, and they're competing against each other for who can lose the most. And it's really nice. So we've made loads of friends in our meeting, and in the bigger community of WW through Instagram, we have made so many friends. And again, it's such a supportive community, and everybody is again in it for their own reasons, but we're all kind of part of a team, I would say. And we all support each other, and I think that is what is the great thing about WW. So like when I see somebody on Instagram and they've just come back from a run, everybody just wants to comment and say congratulations, well done you, and it's lovely. It's really nice to see. And we've made some close friends through it too, and we've set up our own little running club. So we meet up in London on a Sunday morning, we all go for a run, and then we go to a bakery afterwards and have a really calorific breakfast and reward ourselves.
There's always cake.
Cake and cinnamon buns. But you definitely make loads of friends, and everybody just wants to support each other in whatever goals you've got.
And you know that getting out to do a run, actually it does take some effort, doesn't it?
It does.
And some days more than others. So it's really nice to know that you've got people relying on you to turn up and waiting for you to go, and exactly. Once you start, it just feels so good.
There's a real motivation, I suppose, in having that community. From a smaller scale, me and Andrew supporting each other, I think we do that through most things in life. We support each other as a partnership, and then to be able to connect that to the wider community of WW is something that's quite inspiring, I suppose, with the people that we meet. We share our story, they share ours, and it's such an encouraging and engaged community, which is lovely to be a part of.
And it doesn't even always have to be in person. Obviously, you guys have got a great position where you've got people you can meet up. You're in London, so it's quite a central area. But even on social media, that situation where someone's already tagged you, like, see you soon, like for the run, you can't really back out of it once it's been committed into that public space. But again, it works for different people. But that, like you said, comments from people saying congratulations just massively spurs you on. So
definitely, it's nice.
So when you first started the programme, obviously you got to a workshop, you thought, this is for me. First started the programme, did one of you embrace it more? Did one of you find it easier than the other one? How did you help each other along, or did you just both sort of power into it? And
I think
get into cooking and things?
I think for me, like, food is my passion. I
You're
love
right.
food. So I sort of tackled it from that perspective.
Yeah.
Just being creative with the food and trying new things and all that kind of stuff, and just the opportunity to cook in a different way was something that struck, you know, a chord with me, and I really wanted to engage with that, and I ran with that aspect of it. I think Andrew was more conscious of the physical impact. Sort of like she was looking at pictures, looking at her body shape. She had the measuring tape out, you know, ready to go. And then I remember, I think it was one of the first weeks we stood in the living room measuring each other. So we had the measuring tape out, arms, you know, waist, the whole lot. So I think we had different ways of looking at it from the beginning.
But that's good though, because then you're not just focusing on what's on the scale.
No,
you're looking at how your body's changing.
Exactly,
and,
exactly, and that takes time, and that's a process.
Yeah,
and I think we're encouraging each other, and I think because of the food element for me, that kept me going a lot longer. I didn't give up. I didn't want to give up on it, because that's something that sustains you anyway. So
was there
every
any
week,
significant changes that you made when you were cooking? Was there anything you can really think, oh yeah, well I used to do this, but I changed?
Massively.
I
think massively. I think for me it was about just portion control.
Right.
I'm a feeder. You know, I'm a feeder. I love feeding people. So portion control is the main thing. So one of the first things we invested in was kitchen scales.
Yeah.
Obviously, not just for baking or whatever, because like you need those, but just getting digital scales. You know, weighing our carbs and things like that. That was something significant. Not cooking with sugar and oil and that kind of stuff, and you know, looking at different ways of cooking and just embracing different types of ingredients, you know. I mean, the bean side of it, eating a lot of beans, and just knowing that you can substitute certain foods. Yeah. You know, pastas, you've got courgette, you've got all those kind of things. So
new ways,
yeah, definitely. We definitely discovered new aisles in the supermarket.
Yeah.
You know, places I've never been before. So it was really, really good. So that was for me like the best thing about it at the beginning.
Yeah.
And as time went on, and obviously you see the impact it's had, it's just it's a massive thing.
And talking about supermarkets, I mean, it is a time now where it is so much easier to get healthier, because supermarkets have embraced newer ingredients, and you know, it's really, you know, much easier.
And what's great is supermarkets, in the past it would have been quite expensive to eat healthily, whereas now you can go to budget supermarkets and get all of your staples for the week and actually not spend too much money.
Yeah,
definitely. I think also as well, the thing with supermarkets, and the great thing that they're doing is, you know, we look at food as a way of, like, I don't know, like the vegetables and the fruit and stuff like that. We might think, oh, some people might not look at it, but that color and that variety, it's there, it's in the open, it's in the wider community, and people are more educated about the impact of food. So I think the way we've embraced WW is not just looking at it as a weight loss thing. Don't get me wrong, I think at the beginning that's what we were looking at, but it has a much bigger impact in terms of weight, health on your body. And we know now that food, it plays a big part in that. So I think more supermarkets doing these kind of things and promoting healthy eating. I mean, years ago we had the whole sugar thing with the kids, you know, promoting, and you know, like these kind of things for kids and stuff, but now it's for everyone. So
I think what I find really interesting about your stories as well is that obviously we have the new My WW program where there are 3 ways to approach the plan, and actually you two aren't on the same approach. So do you want to kind of talk through why you've picked the colours you're on, and then how that works from a cooking together and eating out perspective? Because I think a lot of people would assume it's hard to do that, but you guys obviously prove otherwise.
When we first started, we both started on green, and Mo really liked it and found it quite easy, whereas I struggled with enjoying it because I didn't enjoy pointing all the foods that I had to point. So I quickly changed back, and I started on purple. So then Mo was on green, I was on purple, and it actually has worked surprisingly well. We eat the same things, it's just we point them in different ways now, and it's working for both of us. And it's suiting our lifestyles. We're both good meal preppers, so we both love to plan our meals for the week on like a Sunday, make sure we've gone food shopping, and then we'll meal prep for the week, so we can kind of suss out how many points we're going to need each day, and when we can roll over, and when we can save up for things, and when we use our weeklies when we go out socialising. But it's worked a lot easier than we thought. So like, whereas I might not point my potatoes if we have a roast, Mo will point his potatoes, and I'll laugh at him because I'm like, ha, you've got to point them and I don't. This is 0 for me.
Yeah.
But it's working for both
Depends
of us.
how much you trust yourself in eating however many potatoes.
I suppose
Yeah.
so. You know, I'm always on the count, and I'm like, you know, I've got to do this because, you know, being Team Green has been just, you know, such a great thing for me, because I thought from the moment I introduced it to my sort of regime, I was like, yeah, I was hooked, because it was all about control for me. You know, being able to point everything. At some points, you know, being on blue and purple, there's a lot of ambiguity in terms of like the food and stuff like that. Whereas green, you point everything. You're in absolute control.
You know where you are.
I know where I'm going with
So that's
with
the
this.
good thing about the programme. You can both eat the same food.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
just the way that you point them or don't point them.
Yeah, what is great is the fact that it is really flexible. And what we love the most is if you really want to change your plan because you've got a few weeks of socialising coming up, you can switch and then come back to what you know and what you love the most. And a prime example of that is in the last week, I've switched to green. Only because I've had a lot of social events and purple was not going to give me enough points to eat out, and I didn't want to be miserable. So I switched to green, and don't get me wrong, I don't really like green and I don't like pointing everything, but it's given me a little bit of control, and then I'm going to switch back to purple next week.
So you've got a plan.
Yeah, I've got a plan and it's working.
That's great. And that does lead on to our next question, which is around like eating out. So like you said, you know that you can plan around, you get your weeklies for the week. Do you ever have times where you feel like maybe you've lost control, or do you just see it as finding balance and, you know, an off day, as some people call it, is an off day and you can get back on it? Like, how do you now find a balance between enjoying yourself to the full and being in control?
I think we do both enjoy ourselves on plan. If I can, and I know that I'm eating out and there's a plan in place for where we're going, I generally quite like to. I'm very indecisive, so it does me good to look at a menu before I get there anyway. And that was before WW. But now we're on WW, I'm just like, let me try and suss out some options. And I'll never make a final decision, but I generally, in my notes section on my phone, will jot down the best choices and on the night, see what I fancy. And that's how I tend to work it. What I think we would both agree on is never turn down eating out because you're on my WW, because life is for living and this plan is meant to work for you to be able to enjoy your life, and it's meant to fit around your social life as well. So I think it hasn't stopped us from eating out. We still eat out. In fact, in the last week, I've eaten out far too much and shouldn't have eaten out as much as I have, and it's worked. So I think, if you can plan slightly ahead, that makes things a lot easier. But even if you don't and you have an off-plan day, I think the easiest piece of advice we can say really is draw a line and start again tomorrow. So that's as easy as it is.
And so when you've been out with friends, do you think, have your friends noticed that you're choosing healthier options? Has it rubbed off on them, or
other than taking photos for Instagram, obviously?
No, definitely. I think people are sort of.
They obviously seen your success in
They've
terms of getting healthier.
But we still eat the same things as them.
Yes.
You know, if we're going to the same restaurant and somebody's going to get, like, I don't know, for example, macaroni and cheese, you know, if I fancy it, I can have macaroni and cheese.
Exactly.
I think the one thing I will say about this program is that it's flexible and it's for everyone, but it doesn't cut you off. You don't have to cut anything off.
No.
Everything is there within reason. And I think that thing you said about losing control, I think that can happen with anything in life. But like you said, you draw a line under it and then you start and you keep going. It's all about just getting motivated about
you've been healthy.
Enjoy yourself. Enjoy what you do, and the whole reason why we're here and being together, that helps us sort of not lose control, I suppose, because we can encourage each other to sort of get back on track, you know, think through things. If one of us is having an off day, the other one will be like, you know, be positive and encouraging. I'm more of an optimist than Andri, so it's me probably doing it.
We wondered
more.
who would be the kind of the motivator.
I definitely am the motivator, and I do like try and inject a lot of positivity into what we do, because that's just me.
The motivator.
That's it. No, but I love that. I love that. I'm very all about, you know, life and you know, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's really enjoyable thing. And don't get me wrong, there is a balance there, because of the way Andri is, she keeps me in check as well. So if I get overzealous with certain things, or I'm not thinking about certain things in a way which I should,
Yeah.
she just keeps me
It
in line,
works.
and it works.
An example of that is probably Mo last night on the sofa, and we'd just come back from weigh-in, so like Mo's like, I'm definitely gonna have some biscuits tonight.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm gonna stick to my WW biscuits and still have my biscuits but keep it calm.
Yeah.
Mo's like straight in the biscuit jar and he's loading up what he's gonna eat, and I'm like, you know how many points that is, just have a few less.
I
he would
stacked
be-
up the custard creams. I was like, I was walking back with a stack of custard creams, like, yeah, I'm gonna really go for these. But yeah, that's the sort of thing that we do, and I think that helps us sort of keep in check. I know that too much of anything can't be good for
It's
you.
just everything in
So,
moderation,
yeah.
isn't it? We have a saying that's remember your why.
Yeah.
So you sort of do that from listening to you just then. You do that for each other, don't you?
Yes.
Like remember why, where you've come from,
Yeah.
how healthy you are now, and
Yeah.
it's good.
We've seen our change. We've seen our change through being teenagers, through our 20s, and now where we are. We've seen it all. So I suppose in a way we know where the lines are, where
What's important
what's
to you.
important as well, and
Yeah.
and that's it. And nothing matters apart from our happiness together. So
Yeah.
that's what we look for in every day, I suppose.
So lovely.
Yeah. Come on.
I want a
mean to
Mo
sound so
running around
cheesy.
telling me what to
Nah.
do and be good about myself.
Oh, trust me, you don't want this one in there.
And you've talked a lot about food and a bit about kind of running and fitness, but do you feel like you've done anything to kind of boost your wellness, either of you? Because nowadays we have a lot of that in the program as well.
I think we have. Maybe more so me than you, I'm not sure. I'd never really done yoga before. So I've taken on yoga. I do it at my work, and I also practice it at home, just using like a YouTube video, or sometimes I go on the WW app and I'll find something on there. I've also tried meditation, and I quite like waking up. It doesn't happen every day, I'm going to be honest, but I do quite like waking up slightly earlier in the morning to do a 5 or 10 minute like meditation, just to kind of start the day off on a positive note.
That's really good.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we both are quite good at like having a little bit of me time and like self-care, I would say.
Yeah.
And like we don't put too much pressure on ourselves to constantly exercise or constantly eat.
Be perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically that.
Yeah.
So like it might be that like we're scheduled to go to the gym on a Saturday morning, and we'll wake up and we'll be like, we're actually really exhausted from work, and we're not going to just push through and then probably feel maybe a little bit worse later. We will listen to our bodies, and sometimes we
Give
do
yourself
just
a break.
have a break, and
That's nice.
we'll instead have a cup of tea and a biscuit and chill and relax and start the day off that way. So I think that's the best thing we do. We don't put pressure on each other.
Yeah.
And there'll be times when Mo will go out for his sprint or run, I should say. And yeah, I was meant to go, but I just don't go because I'm just not ready for it today. And that's okay as well. Yeah.
And I don't make her feel bad for doing that kind of thing. And I think
Yeah.
it's that, and it's just encouraging. And there's some days where she might be doing her yoga and I'm just sitting there, watching TV. So we know, each other well enough to sort of sense how we're feeling. And I think that's what it is. For me, I don't know, I'm not always in a positive state of mind, but I try and keep that always at the surface, because I know that it's important. I've seen hardship, I've seen loads of things. Andri's helped me through that. And I think having somebody there that you can rely on, and being a rock for one another is really important for us. So I think as a wider community, the WW community does that, because people encourage each other. Those kind words, that positivity, it really feeds through. Even if you're on your own, you don't feel like you are.
Yeah.
And especially having somebody there all the time, for me, helps. And don't get me wrong, we don't do absolutely everything to with each other. We do have we don't work in the same place. We might travel in to work differently sometimes, and things like that. You need space, I suppose. And you need your own headspace. We're different people, so, but we understand that, and it's about understanding each other. I know when she needs a cuddle. I know when she doesn't,
Oh, it
I'm in
sounds
my
like you've
little
got a
corner of the
really nice
sofa.
balance with everything.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
to. And some days that balance does get muddled up. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
But
that's just
you're only
normal,
human.
isn't it?
That's
Yeah.
normal. But
Human.
you hit the reset button
Yeah.
and you keep going. That's
Yeah.
it.
So we saw recently your celebrations of getting to your goal weight.
Yeah.
How How is your mindset? Well, congratulations.
Thank
And
you
how
very
is
much.
your getting to a healthy weight range? How has your mindset changed from sort of obviously looking to lose weight to now maintaining? Because once you're at a healthy weight range, we don't want you to lose any more weight. We just want you to stay in that healthy weight range.
To be honest, I think that's been the hardest part. And if I'm, totally honest with you, I think that has been more challenging than actually losing. It's about finding that balance. And I'm at a stage now where I've done it, for 16 months, but I'm learning new things as well as that. So all the things I've learned over the last 16 months are there, but I've now had to change my learning process and learning about my body again, about how to keep the shape, how to keep maintaining. It's a new challenge, and it's one that I'm currently facing. So the celebration was incredible. I felt great about it. I've always been big, so I've always, like I said, kept a positive mindset. Even when I was a kid, I used those assets to my advantage. Being the big kid in the playground, that kind of stuff. Don't get me wrong, it was nice being bigger than everyone. But when you're wearing men's trousers, you go for school uniform shopping and you're wearing men's trousers, it's like it's a bit like kids are looking at you, or my blazer doesn't fit, or that kind of stuff. So I suppose in a way that was there, deep down, but now I'm feeling better. People I haven't seen since school go to me, oh my God, like you lost so much weight, and I'm like, and like, what have you done? I've done WW. Oh, what is that? And I'm like, this is it. It's enjoyable telling people about it as well.
But your mindset has changed and then changed again now.
Definitely.
Because,
And now it's all about maintaining. So that for me is a new challenge, and it's one I can't, wait to sort of conquer.
Amazing.
So I'm really enthused about it. So it's going to be great.
Good.
Cool. Okay, so normally at this point we would do a quick fire round, but we thought, considering we've got you both, we'd change it up a bit for Valentine's Day and do a Mr. and Mrs. round. So for people that are listening, obviously they wouldn't see if we had paddles. So what we'll do is we'll get you to say Andri or Mo, depending on who you think is the right person for the answer. And we'll see how much you agree with each other, which will be interesting. Yeah.
I'm a bit worried.
It's going to be competitive, isn't it?
I think it is. Okay, I'm ready.
Mo.
I'm going to concentrate.
Who cooks the most?
Mo.
And he's proud of that.
I'm proud of it. Very, very, very proud of that. Yep.
Yeah, I can't even lie. He does.
Okay, who makes the most mess in the kitchen?
Andrew.
Yeah, me. I didn't even get to say my full name.
Yeah, I cook and clean at the same time.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
whereas Andrew...
I just hate washing up, if I'm totally honest with you. We don't have a dishwasher and I really hate it. Mo actually kind of enjoys it, so I just see it as, you know what, you can take it on.
Yeah, growing up, we never had a dishwasher. My mum used to call me the human dishwasher, so
Oh my God.
I'm good to go. Yeah.
A lot of people split it, don't they? Like, you cook and I'll wash up.
Yeah.
But it never works that way in the end.
In our home, it's Mo's kitchen, so if he's cooking, nobody's allowed to step in that kitchen, sadly.
Okay. Who's the most likely to want a takeaway?
Mo.
What would it be?
Turkish.
Nice.
Yeah, I love grilled meat. So and you kind of can make it healthy, I suppose, in a way.
Some salad?
Yeah, with some salad.
Yeah.
No chips. And if I'm feeling really naughty,
Sometimes chips.
Chips as well. Yeah.
And
Nice.
garlic sauce.
yeah, garlic sauce.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with garlic sauce.
Cool. Who is most likely to push you both to exercise?
Mo.
I was going to say Mo, yeah. I would have said Mo. Yeah, he is the motivator, really. I could easily wake up and be like, I really can't be bothered today. And Mo would be like, nope, come on, we've got to do another 5K. Or, come on, I haven't done my quota for the month. That's the most famous saying, because he has a quota on how much he runs a month.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then, we just have to go out then.
Yeah.
Do you do like Fitbit challenges with each other?
Yeah, our steps are very important to us. And we always, sometimes if we don't finish our steps, you see us just walking around the house.
Last night.
Chasing each other.
Before midnight.
So yeah, literally before midnight, and like, I've got 500 steps.
That was me last night. I was
Yeah.
jogging round,
Yeah.
just trying to get my steps in. But I've noticed that you can hula hoop and get your steps in that way. So
Yeah.
That's
I'm
good
doing that
tip,
too now.
Good
Nice.
tip. Who sleeps better?
Andrew.
Andrew.
I love sleep. Mo could stay awake all night and still function the next day, whereas I need a solid 8 to 10 hours a night or it's not happening.
Same.
So I go to bed exceptionally early. Mo is up until the crack of dawn watching something or another.
I mean, who goes to bed at 9 o'clock on a Friday night? You
Me.
know,
Like, that's
do
my
you know
ideal
what?
night.
I think that's what the weekends are for. I love staying up and watching, late night TV or that kind of stuff. So
I wish I
enjoy
could.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I really enjoy it. But Andri can just sleep through anything. I don't think we've started a series and
So you
she's
don't
not
wake
slept.
her up when you come to bed then? Not like...
No. I try.
That's
in
good.
fact, if she's going to bed, I have strict instructions not to go near the bed for an
So
hour at
embarrassing.
least.
Yeah, so
So
you
she
get
says
into a
give-
deep sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I
she
need to
says,
get
give me
deep
an
sleep
hour.
before you come in.
Yeah.
And I've got an eye mask and I've got earplugs because I just can't bear noise and I
I'm
can't
like
bear
that.
light. So it's the perfect combo we've got going on really.
Yeah.
Mo
You
knows.
really have.
And I listen. So.
You'd hope so after that one together, wouldn't
Yeah,
you?
yeah,
That
yeah,
you'd
definitely.
find a
Exactly.
solution for
We
it.
have.
So you've talked about the cooking, but who's better at food shopping?
Andri, yeah,
Oh.
Yeah.
definitely.
So you kind of make the plan and Mo literally makes the food.
That's exactly it.
She's more organized than I am. So
Yeah.
with Andri, it's about she has a vision, and often she says, "Oh, you made my vision come to life," kind of thing. So she will
Yeah.
plan, the
like
the
an
meal,
artist.
or that kind of that's something, or she'll have a list of ingredients that she wants to
Yeah.
buy.
And Mo can't be bothered to look through cookbooks. He's
Yeah.
a typical man.
Yeah.
He just can't be bothered with any of that planning. Whereas I will find the recipes, I'll write out what ingredients we need, and we will go food shopping together.
Yeah.
But I will have the list prepared, ready
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah,
I'm definitely the organizer.
yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Who's the most likely to spend their weeklies on booze?
Mo.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a hard one because we generally, if we're going to drink together.
Yeah, but I suppose I drink.
Who would
A lot-
influence that?
I,
then?
yeah, no, but
Definitely Mo.
definitely me, because I think I drink a lot more than what she does. I think as well. So
Yeah.
it's like my drinks are a little bit different. I think they're a little bit more heavy on the points.
Okay.
I would say.
Yeah.
Whereas
That's
I'm
what it
quite
is.
happy with a gin and tonic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super low in points.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm not.
Whereas Mo's not a gin guy.
No.
No.
Sorry about that.
Well, after that, I think you both know each other pretty well.
We can see how it works.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
why it works.
Yeah.
It's
No.
really nice.
It's been amazing, and thanks so much for coming in. I think it's been so inspiring hearing from both of you, and especially because you're doing it together.
Yeah, thank you for having us. We've
Thank
actually
you.
really loved it.
Yeah, no, it's been really enjoyable. So, like I said, it's just another thing that we enjoyed doing. Being part
Yeah.
of the
It's been
WW
really
team.
enjoyable learning about you and how you support each other. And,
It's
yeah.
incredible. Without this, we'd still be together, but I don't know. Different
We're
version.
better
I think,
together.
yeah,
Yeah.
better
Not so
together.
healthy version.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, I think we are our best. you
Yeah,
know? So we've definitely got the best version of each other right now.
Well, thank
So,
you guys.
Thank you so
Amazing.
much.
Nice.
And thank you for listening. Keep an eye on our Instagram stories for our next guest because we'll be asking you for your questions.
And for anyone that hasn't already seen Andri and Mo on our TV ad or on any other advertising, do you want to do a shout out to your Instagram?
Yeah, our handle is www_losingpounds_together.
Give them a watch. They're amazing.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you so much.
See you later, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.